And for more talking a little opening day in Reds baseball, we now bring in Gary Miller. Gary, another baseball season here. An interesting one for the Reds compared to last season where everybody had all the confidence in the world. I'm not so sure I'm there like I was last year.
You know, it's interesting, Chris, because when we went into the beginning of the offseason before free agency, and Reds, like a lot of teams in the Central, didn't do much, they were picked to win. They were odds-on favorites even in Vegas. Then we saw them drop down. They're like fourth now in terms of whether you want to bet on them to win them. And I think their best bet is to maybe get in as a wild card, which we're going to have extras of again this year. If you want to rate the confidence scale, like John Gum does with his weather, I'd say medium-low.
Medium-low. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say medium, and here's why. I never think in sports in general, you never want to go into a season and say, all right, we're counting on a bunch of guys to do something they've never done before, to have a career year and carry us. You want to have as many knowns on your roster as you do, and the Reds have a lot of unknowns. Now, there's talent there, don't get me wrong. But is Jonathan India going to continue his hot streak from spring training into his rookie season? That's a big unknown. Can the pitching staff overcome Bauer, DeSclafani, and all the other guys that left? That's a big unknown. I'm medium because the potential is there. Could they do it? Yes, and I think they have the advantage that the NL Central unloaded a lot of contracts this year, so the Central's not as stacked as it usually is.
I think they've underrated some of the other teams in the Central. I think St. Louis is probably, in my opinion, the best. I think Milwaukee is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. I think those are the two teams the Reds are going to have the most trouble with. I do love the Jonathan India move. I think it's a little unusual for the Reds, you know, to give a job to a guy they weren't even penciling in. He's a non-roster guy. I mean, he wasn't even on the roster. He was one of the decisions they made pretty early on, is just started shuffling people around. I like the Suarez move. I'm not sure it's going to pay off defensively, especially when you have, as you mentioned, some question marks in that pitching staff. And up the middle defense, you got India at second, and now you got Moustakas moving back to third. Joey Votto's not the defensive first baseman he used to be. They do have Farmer, and I like his versatility. He didn't appreciate the fact that he wasn't given more of a shot to be the everyday shortstop. But that gets me into my other point of, I like him as a depth piece. I don't like a lot of the rest of the depth. And as we've already seen in spring, Akiyama's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Gray could have been an opening day starter. He won't be there for the first game. And Michael Lorenzen, the master of physical fitness, won't be ready for the very first. So what do you have beyond that? I don't feel big about that.
So you're medium-low, I'm medium. The good news, though, Gary, is unlike last year, it is a marathon of a baseball season and not a sprint.